Hi, everybody. My name is Noma Langa. I am a full-time homemaker and moneymaker. Um, I'm not bragging, or maybe I am just a little bit. But one of the things that I enjoy is being home with my family and being able to have the freedom to make an income while I'm at home. I haven't always had this great situation, and I want to share a few things that I did to transition myself from where I was to where I am now. I can tell you before I was used to be, I had two children. I still have two children now, there's three. I worked full time. I was a full time mother, a full time wife, but also working full time as a college professor. And I was extremely overwhelmed, tired, and sometimes even depressed. I was overweight, and I dealt with a lot of emotional turmoil from trying to do all these things all the time. I know that a lot of women can relate to this because I often used to be brought to my knees, crying, wondering why I couldn't cope with trying to do these three things and excel at these three things all at the same time. I made a decent income. Um, you know, the first job that I had was in corporate America, and then I transitioned and I started lecturing in management and business programs, and I loved what I was doing. But again, it was extremely overwhelming. I literally used to cry because I couldn't cope. I made a decent income, but it never seemed to be enough. And again, I'm saying this and sharing this. I don't like sharing my personal life, but I know that there are a lot of women in this position. You feel stuck. If you quit your job, you won't have enough money. But at the same time, the effort to excel in your career and make enough money pulls you away from your family. And most of all, your children suffer because they're not getting the time and attention that they need. And at this time, I often share that my children started to struggle in school. The short story is that eventually we pulled them out of school and they were transitioned. We transitioned our family into a homeschool family, but that's a story for another day. Today, um, I do have now an income that rivals the income that I had when I was working full time. And I'm very, very appreciative of that. But I don't have to go to work to do it. I make my income from home. And I can tell you a little bit more about how I do that, how I make that transition. I get a lot of rest and I have a lot of freedom to do the things that are important to me and to my family. So, three things that I can share that I did is the first thing that I did is I made a decision that I was no longer going to be sick and tired because I literally was sick and tired. And again, I keep sharing this because I know there are a lot of women. One of the things that I do is I'm a business coach for women who are specifically married, they have children, and they're trying to make money from home. So I know that what propels women to want to do this is they're usually so tired and so overwhelmed, and they're stuck in the workplace and they don't know how to get out. And sometimes they genuinely do have good jobs, they're making a positive impact in society, but they just can't sustain it because it's killing them, literally. So I made a decision to get out. I wanted to have a joyful life. I wanted to be free. I wanted to have enough income and I wanted to have enough time and freedom. And I made the decision. That was the first thing that I did was I made that decision to get out. And once I made the decision to get out, a lot of things started to happen. But again, I can't emphasize enough that you have to make the decision. Just last week, I did a webinar and I was talking to parents who are interested in homeschooling, and I noticed a comment was, "I'm a single mother. How am I supposed to homeschool my children? There's no way to work and homeschool these children." So obviously, that parent wasn't ready to come into this lifestyle because she was still thinking, "I can't do it." Where we meet is when you make the decision. You may not know exactly how it's going to happen, but you make the decision. You make the decision that you're no longer going to live your life feeling unhappy, depressed, overwhelmed, and constantly crying because you can't cope with your life. You have to make a decision that ends and it ends today. And then you begin to take the actions to change it. And again, you don't know always how to make that change. Nobody knows everything, which brings me to my second point. You need to get help. Okay. I can remember one of the things that I did is I've always loved writing. I had myself a little blog, and on a good day, I had 30 people read my little blog, and I would be celebrating. Just a couple of days ago, I did a social commentary video for 10 minutes, and already 100,000 people have seen that video. So think about, almost 10 years ago, I was happy when 30 people read something that I wrote. And now I'm not that surprised that 100,000 people saw a video that I made sharing my experience, my expertise, or just my opinion. The point that I'm making is that I got help. One of the first things that I remember doing was, because I love to write, I started looking for places where I could write. And oftentimes I asked to write for those publications for free. And the reason why was because I wanted to increase my readership. And I formed partnerships and mentorships. And I still have great mentors who helped me make the transition from working full time to creating my own income stream. So that's one of the first things that I did was I got mentorship. And the most powerful mentor that I've ever had to date is a person who I reached out to and said, I'll work for free, just as long as you teach me what you're doing, and you teach me how to do it well, and you teach me how to make my own money. And it worked. So that was one of the first things that I did, guys. I can't emphasize it enough. I looked for a mentor. Mentors matter. You need a mentor. You need to get acquainted with people who are doing, not just doing it successfully, what you're trying to do. You need to get acquainted with and find a way to add value to somebody and offer to learn in exchange. You have to add value to them and then offer, and then maybe they will offer you mentorship or teach you or let you tag along or whatever it is. But remember, I offered to work for free. Even if I do say so myself, I was actually a great writer. And one of my mentors had all these blogs, and he was always looking for content writers. And he had a small budget. And I said, you know what? I'll write for free. And then eventually they needed an editor. And again, I had been writing for a while. I was really good at editing, and I started editing also for free. And eventually I got paid for it. And I ended up creating my own blogs, which all those years ago were my strongest income streams. I won't say how much money, but I actually ended up replacing the money that I made as a college professor just with my own blogs and other things related to those income streams. So get a mentor. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay. That's one of the first things that you need to do when you get help. The other thing is you may need to hire a coach. I'm saying may need to hire a coach. I hired a coach, more than one, and in several areas of my life. But in terms of my business, I hired a business coach. And that business coach is the one that was responsible for getting me from I want to do something, I have a few ideas, to knowing exactly how I wanted to brand myself and how I was moving forward and how I was going to set up my income streams, how I was going to channel everything that I was doing into an income stream. So again, mentorship and a coach. And then the other thing is you want to form masterminds. Okay. Masterminds are basically people who are your peers, who have different experiences, backgrounds, and expertise. And you kind of get together every now and then to share ideas, to help each other and motivate each other. You could be getting together on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, who knows, whatever it is. All you have to do is be people who are motivated, and at the time, you're driven to accomplish your goals. You're all driven to accomplish your goals, and you want to hold hands and get there together. So masterminds are very important. And then the last thing, which isn't necessarily getting help, is you're going to have to change the people around you. You're going to have to change the people around you. You're going to have to be willing to let go of some people and invite other people into your life who are going to support you in meeting your goals. So I can't make that any clearer. And obviously, you can't just get rid of people. Sometimes changing the people around you means you spend more time with certain people that you used to spend less time with, and then spend less time with people you spend a lot of time with. And again, what is going to drive this is people who are going to help you meet your goals. Now, mind you, one of the things that I actually started to do, which doesn't seem like it supports business goals, was I actually started making friends with other stay-at-home moms. But actually, a lot of women that I know who stay at home full time with their children always have a little something that they're building on the side. And they know how to do that holistically without destroying their marriages and families. And that's what was important to me. Those were my people, and you have to find your people. So find people and surround yourself with people who have common values and who also have common goals, and you help each other and support each other. And the third and last thing is I educated myself. Guys, like I said, I have business and management degrees. I have in undergrad, I also have a concentration, or what people call a minor, in psychology. For graduate school, I have a master's in teaching business education. Okay. Creating an online business was certainly not something I was prepared for in college. I was not educated to do that. But guess what? I learned how, because creating an online business was what was going to help me stay home with my family. It was what was going to help me keep what's most important in the front end, and then also be able to do other things like create other passive income, or create multiple streams of income. So again, educate yourself, educate yourself, educate yourself. If you can find free courses, YouTube is full of them. If you have to pay, pay. I'm not saying you have to break the bank. Buy books. I used to have so many books coming to me, and books are cheap. Amazon.com. Almost on a weekly basis, I was looking for books. I looked for books about starting businesses. I looked for books about women who had learned how to invest in the stock market, about investing in real estate, being coaches, being teachers, everything that I could find that was going to support my goals. And then also I found other people who had businesses online. I interviewed them. I tried to add value in many different ways to them so that they could teach me what they were doing. But ultimately, I started to educate myself. If you're not growing, if you're not educating yourself, you cannot expect to succeed. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 3 things, okay? The first thing is make that decision, be firm with your decision, and then you will start to take the actions that support that decision. The second thing is get help. Mentors, coaches, masterminds, and other people who can support you in what you're trying to do. And then the third thing is educate yourself. You never can know everything, and things change. The market changed. Facebook algorithms change. Things change. Just keep educating yourself and educating yourself. I wish you all the best, guys, and I hope to see you soon. Again, my name is Noma Langa, and I am a homemaker and moneymaker, and I hope that you will meet your goals.